2025 budget alone, we're going to spend.
So I will not be surprised if there's a policy concerning that.
My own personal argument is that when we build a gigantic city,
You cannot operate a mobile toilet there without the approval of the church.
When King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, the Fuji music star, now popularly known as KWAM, went off track on the 5th of August 2025, he seemed to have gotten away with his misbehavior. But when Miss Comfort Emmanson's similar drama spilled into the public, the swift hands of justice or injustice stamped a lifetime air travel ban on Miss Emmanson. Plus, it landed her in Kirikiri Prison, pending trial. However, Nigerians got involved with heated debates, both on the mainstream and social media, as to whether such decisions didn't amount to double standards on the part of the authorities. As the Nigerian Bar Association was warming up to step in for Ms. Emmanson, the federal government of Nigeria, through the Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, Mr. Festus Keyamo, spun a dramatic twist. And KWAM is now an aviation security ambassador. What could have inspired such decisions? And what are the lessons for Nigerians? Ishaya and Dayo are joining me from Lagos to discuss this. Welcome to our show. Let's get involved. Ishaya, you're welcome. Dayo, nice to have you.
Thank you, Alex.
So Ishaya,
Thank
let's
you,
start.
Alex.
Let Dayo kick the ball rolling. What could have led to this?
Well, you know, after the KWAM saga, I think it was well advised, and he quickly dropped an apology, which some people have said that it wasn't in order. But you know, in the southwestern part of Nigeria, the Yoruba-speaking part, there's an adage that says that apology has a male and a female version. So some people have been saying that apology is the male one or the female one. But nevertheless, he dropped an apology, and I think that may have sufficed for the decision to lessen the burden on him and to now make him an ambassador. But
what do you mean by
I don't
full apology? Sorry,
Exactly.
Dayo. Can you just explain?
Yes.
What does male apology imply?
No, the male one is the hard one. If I've offended you now, I can say, sorry. Okay, sorry.
Okay, as in the one that does not come from the heart.
The soft one is the female one, is the one that is accepted. So the male one for formality. So some people are criticizing that apology was the male type. But nevertheless, an apology is apology. At least he said it in English language. He didn't say it in Yoruba language. And I think that may have suggested why he was pardoned, and because that offense is tantamount to something a bit more grievous than something that should be treated with a peace. So, but I think that apology was the right step in the right direction, two steps in the right direction. But I personally don't know why the ambassador did it. I don't know how.
I think that incident that happened within the space of 1 week. From one own happened on August 5th, while that of Comfort Emmanson happened on the 11th, I think.
On the 10th.
11th or 12th.
On the 10th.
On the 10th.
Yes.
Oh, that's just 5 days.
5 days apart.
And then you ask yourself, why was KWAM 1 not in Kuje prison, just like Ms. Emmanson? was taken to Kirikiri Prison. Just within hours that she committed her infractions. We saw in a video where she slapped an air hostess. But from other accounts, it appears that the air hostess and other crew members had behaved in an unprofessional way. And to make the matters worse, one of the air hostess stood in front of the aircraft, stopping her, barricading her from going down. I mean, what should you have done? You shouldn't have done that. You should have allowed her to exit the aircraft. And then if you have any complaint against her, the appropriate security agents ought to have taken over, not you taking laws into your own hands. So, but that aside, the infractions, the crime of Comfort Emmanson is almost the same as those of KWAM. But in the case of KWAM, let's not forget that KWAM stood in the front of a moving plane. It almost got sliced into two, if not for his swiftness in dodging the wing of the aircraft, and that could have caused other ripple effects on the travel. There were no less than 100 passengers in the aircraft, so we didn't know how much of that action would have resulted in other unintended consequences. We didn't know. It could have been worse than what we saw. So his actions were very, very despicable, And the NCAA swiftly sent a petition to the Inspector General of Police. I think the following day they did that. But the IGP didn't act on that petition until yesterday, when the pressure was so much that how come citizen Emmanson is in Kirikiri for acting in almost similar manner as KWAM. And the answer is simple. When KWAM committed his act, government officials were begging on his behalf that he said to err is human. And we know that KWAM has a very close relationship with the president. So what is the point here now is that a society where we are ruled not by law but by individuals, that society will not grow the way it ought to. Because on what basis now what will be the moral ground for another passenger or crew of any aircraft when they become unruly or disorderly, acted in a way that could jeopardize the safety of passengers? What would be the moral standing that you could use to prosecute them when these other two have almost been allowed to go without even the police doing the investigation they ought to have done and properly prosecute them? Because if you don't punish crime, you really jeopardize the moral fabric of society. The offense that they have carried out, it is not just against individuals. They carry out offense against the community, against society. Because society is governed by laws. And then when you violate these laws, it is now the law that will take its course. It is not a Festus Keyamo that will now be saying, after hearing all sides, the federal government will now withdraw charges, police will... No. That's not how decent societies operate. Everybody should obey the law, including the government, including its officials, including individuals. That's the only way we can have sanity. We shouldn't be ruled by brute force. We should be ruled by law. Okay, Alex, take it over from here.
Do we describe this as ruled by brute force, or is the issue of selective justice now? Dayo, you've heard what Ishaya said. I'd like you to comment on this. Is it not the issue of selective justice? And I really want us to kind of analyze what would have led to the decision, the dramatic turn of events. Federal government saying, okay, now they are not going to be prosecuted, and a very, very, very funny decision that KWAM is now, what do we call it? National Security Ambassador.
You and I, we are here talking about the situation and talking about this matter now because the aircraft did not slice KWAM into two. If another situation, if an ugly incident had happened, in fact, maybe the Emmanson's own wouldn't have happened. Maybe it wouldn't have happened. But we are here talking about this now because he was able to dodge the wing of that aircraft. Another thing would have happened. You know, a lot of things would have happened. I don't want to imagine what would have happened if the reverse had been the case, if he had been slicing it. So let's leave that to one side. So I also like to look at this situation in a kind of because people are being political about it now. Now he's friend of the president. Yeah. Now is that. Now is this. But KWAM did not slap anybody. I hope you know that.
He poured liquid on the pilot of the aircraft, according to the report. Yes, so that's assault. In fact, because
I did not see that video, but I heard that was what happened.
Yes.
So, on the other hand, I want to liken this situation of these two people to the field of play in football. You know, this life is not balanced. That is one thing we should know. This life is not a balanced life. It's not. Some things happen beyond what we can fathom. Okay, let's take it to football, for instance. If a Lionel Messi or a C. Ronaldo is on the field, there's a kind of protection. There's the kind of protection he enjoys compared to an unknown player. I am not justifying the tampering of one person or selective justice, but you look at it. It's a world we live in a funny world of fixed numbers. If a C. Ronaldo is allowed to be injured, for instance, the insurance, his legs are insured, the insurance company will suffer. He will not play the next match, which may drop the attendance in case it's all economic. So a KWAM may have been looked at in a kind of economic situation that this one is a celebrity, this one is to enjoy a kind of relief, a kind of protection, which will make him to behave well. That there's so much investment on me. There's so much emotional investment people have in me. That should make him to behave well. But on the other hand, we are here talking now because we in Nigeria we don't do that. We don't do things to matter in a very simple way. We take things from the top. We don't take it from down. How was KWAM able to beat all the checks? Because I know that when we are traveling, if you don't check in your perfume, your liquid, or whatever, you can't fly with it.
To be seized.
So yes. So how was he able to beat all the gatekeepers, the scanners, everything? How was he able to get to that place? Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking. Maybe he has tipped somebody, and maybe that's not even his first time. Nobody is talking about that. You have to look at this holistically.
Dayo, he doesn't need to tip anybody. He doesn't need to tip anybody. I'm telling you that he doesn't need to tip anybody. We have a big man mentality, a big manism mentality, that once we see somebody and we believe that these people are like you try to describe them, people of high economic value.
Yes.
So everybody differ to them. you can imagine the security when that aircraft was about to start taxiing, and the KWAM was right in front. They were virtually begging him instead of them to bundle him out of that of that space. That should have been the appropriate action, because the engine of the plane was running, and you have a passenger standing right in front, and they were begging. All the other security guys were begging for what? What they should have done was to grab him and forcefully remove him there and go and detain him somewhere. That's what should have happened, but they didn't do that. In the case of Comfort Emmanson, we could see that the girl is very rude, extremely rude lady. You know why I said so? She was fighting everybody she could see.
Yes.
She may have been justifiably provoked. They could have provoked her to the point that she could lose her control, But that does not justify why you will be slapping, kicking, and holding somebody by the collar of their shirts, pulling the man down. She simply has no regard for anybody. And I was happy that she was given the Kirikiri treatment, even if it is for just 24 hours. That will certainly make her some of the things that are running riots in her head to calm her down. But the point has to be made that the reason she got away with her own action was because there was no moral ground to prosecute her. KWAM has already been given a soft landing. The Inspector General of Police had an afterthought and started talking that he has instructed the Commissioner of Police to investigate. 5 days after, what happened the day that you got the petition, Mr. Inspector General of Police? Why didn't you give the instruction? What happened the next day? What happened the third day? What happened the fourth day? It is only after there was so much agitation that why are you giving two citizens different treatment that you decided to say, okay, let's investigate. And Festus Keyamo now came with a PR stunt to now finally beat all of us out of our logic by saying, that's what he did. By saying, okay, we're withdrawing charges, we're going to make KWAM ambassador. Oh, for God's sake, that's even more insult to our sensibility. Why are you making KWAM an ambassador? I thought ambassador is somebody that you want to emulate. What is there to emulate in that action? So that is it.
Okay, and I was going to come to this because you see, for every action and reaction, there is a way that it tilts the society. When Dayo was talking, he talked about economic value, which ultimately is power, right? We're talking about the power dynamics in the society. Certain people are treated differently because of maybe their connections and all that, right? But a society cannot progress that way. If A does something wrong against the society and he gets away with it, we are going to be breeding a society of gangsters and thugs. Because if there is no law in a society, we know that there is no society that is perfect, but it is important for it to be seen that the society is, tilting more on the path of justice than injustice. And now KWAM has been named an ambassador. So is it that his action is something for Nigerians to emulate? Or what is the logic behind that decision? That somebody who displayed that kind of misdemeanor in a public place be named an ambassador. Another thing that I would like to say is that just as one of our major objectives about this program is to inspire Nigerians to get involved with what is happening. And I think this is a classical example of what the power of people getting involved in an issue can do. Because I want to believe that it's because of all the heated arguments and the heated debate as to why Miss Comfort Emmanson is getting this kind of punishment, while KWAM seems to have gotten away with his, that, brought us to this position today where the punishment is lifted and somebody is now an ambassador. So how does a society benefit from this kind of decision now?
Let me also add to what Alex has just highlighted about the double standards here and there. That has been almost the norm that we see. Certain people, the weight of the law descends on them full force. Others, they get away with whatever they've done. But let me remind us that Bobrisky, when he was accused of spraying or abusing Naira, he was given the maximum of the punishment, which is 6 months without fine. And he spent every of those days in Kirikiri, in Lagos. Then, some other kids of a very powerful man in Lagos, Thomas Okoya, his children were caught in similar acts. What happened? That was swept under the carpet. Nobody had anything about that, despite the agitation on social media. The case refused to get a headway. The same scenario played out when government Ekpemupolo, aka Tom Polo, was dancing and Naira was being sprayed right in front of him, and he was stepping on it. He was stepping on the Naira notes. In fact, the EFCC chairman was the one making excuses for him. Said that video may have been doctored. He reluctantly said, okay, we're going to invite Tom Polo. That never happened. So we don't want a society where the rule of law is meant for the textbooks or for just academic purpose. A.V. Dicey, when he popularized that principle of the rule of law, which states that the law is supreme, that everyone must be subject to that law. It is not meant for simply academic purposes. It is meant to govern society and to make society orderly and to make society decent. And society functions well. And societies where the rule of law prevails are among those that are highly developed, because there will be confidence in the system, there will be trust, and you could attract foreign investment if investors are confident that whenever there is a dispute, they can trust the system. But a society where the law may be set aside to please the interest of certain people, that society will have challenges with economic growth. Okay. Dayo can shoot.
We're running out of time, so Dayo, I would like you to make your recommendations now, how we can move Nigeria forward from this point.
Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, the idea to make KWAM an ambassador of whatever. I don't know how it came about that. Maybe in the next few days, because the debate is still on. Maybe the Honorable Minister will be able to maybe explain, or maybe there are still some corners that will come out that will be able to know what really that idea and what that idea wants to achieve. Training and retraining of aviation workers, airline operators, airport operators to commence in earnest. Training and retraining because our society is evolving. More things are coming on. More people are flying these days than what we had done before. And despite the fact that it's not very expensive to fly, but you find all categories of people flying. And one major thing again is that our education system is not because if Nigeria is a society of certificates. things that you can do, but you will not be engaged in the workspace if you don't have certificate. So many people have got certificates without education, and many educated people do not have certificates to function as they should. So our education system is not as qualitative as it should be. Because if somebody is education in terms of just basic education, primary and secondary school, which most or many Nigerians have, somebody who has been educated should know that some behaviors are dangerous to themselves and to others. They are endangering the lives. So when you are trying to stop it from flying, there's an implication. And when you slap somebody who is supposed to take care of you on board, it's an aberration. So, and all these things, they have consequences. But somebody who has gone through school, or somebody who is mentally stable enough to fly and does not know that, something is wrong with his life. So then to hamper this kind of people, we are opening the door for more of this situation. People will not respect the rule of law. People will not even know. People will not even want to obey any constitutional authority, and people will not know how to behave in public space when there is no consequence. So that's just it.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Dayo. Thank you, Ishaya, and thank you to our esteemed viewers for being part of the program today. Get involved. We want to encourage you to get involved in everything that happens around you. Just like Nigerians got involved in the issue of KWAM 1 and KWAM 2 as it were, and today we are here with at least the suspension of that, because the truth is that the punishment meted out on Miss Comfort Emmanson was like killing a fly with a sledgehammer. So I would like to say that the lifting of the punishment is good, but it has a repercussion, because there is no how we can get away with it just as the punishment has been lifted. Why was the punishment lifted? If we live in a society where we want law and order to prevail, then there has to be punishment for offenders. So viewers, make sure you get involved. Thank you for being part of the program today. We'll catch you next time.